Okay, let's see if I'm online here. Can anyone see me yet? Can anyone hear me yet? It's 3 o'clock right on the nose. Yep. Yep. Okay. Hello, hello. Okay, let's see if I'm online here. Can anyone see me? Oh, yet? Got someone on? Can anyone hear me yet? Ha ha ha, first. Alessio, hi man. Hey, how's it going? Hey, how you doing? It's the drunken one. Wow, man, people are waiting for me this time. Look at this, Patrick. Okay, Michael. All right. Oh, is it George or Jorge? I don't know how you pronounce that. Everyone's different. Luigi, Dr. Pepper, David. First. All right, guys. This is awesome. Hi man. Hey, how's it going? Hey, how you doing? Let me turn down my volume here so I can. Wow, man, people are waiting for me this time. Look at this, Patrick. Okay, Michael. Okay. All right. Oh. Can you all hear me okay? Everyone's different. Seth, hey, how's it going? Dan, Oliver, Brent. All right, guys. All right, Mr. Wing Gillian. Hey, how's it going? Hey, how you doing? Stephen Smith. MJ, how's it going, man? Hey, Hoss. Let's see, Martin. All right, man, you guys are really filing in here. This is a lot different than last week. You know, I started that live broadcast last week with about an hour's notice because, like I said in that video, I was going to do a pre-recorded one like I've always done, and never did it. And then time ran out, and I ended up doing a live stream, and that was kind of chaotic, but that was fun too, right? Martin. All right. Let's see, Ray. Hey, Ray, how's it going? California, cool, nice to see you. Let's see, much more. Okay, hey. An echo. Okay, hold on a minute. Last week with about an hour's notice. Is that better? Because, like I said in that video, I was going to do a pre-recorded one like I've always done. Yeah, I know. That's what I'm hearing. There's feedback. So, is it okay now? That was kind of chaotic, but that was fun too, right? Martin. All right. Let's see, Ray. Hey, Ray. Anybody? California. Cool. Nice to see you. Let's see, much more. Okay, two windows open. Is that what it is? Hold on a minute. All right, let me see what I got going on here. Is that better? Let me get my echoes. All right, I'll close that one. Feedback. So, let's see. Is it okay now? That was kind of chaotic, but that was fun too, right? How is this? This didn't happen last time, right? Cool, nice to see you. Let me see here. Let's see, much more. Okay, two windows open. Is that what it is? Hold on a minute. All right. Echo still, huh? Okay. Let me see what's. Oh, you know what it is? I think I got it. It's this YouTube live control room thing in the background here, I think. I stopped it or paused it. Is that better? Hey, Robin, how's it going? David, hey. Still two of me, huh? See, I don't hear anything. Let's see. Hello? 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 Still two of me? Guys, I know there's like a 20-second delay. Oh, it's fixed. Okay, good. Yep, so that's what it was. See, the problem is well, for one, I'm learning. Two, this YouTube thing, they have a preview screen and well, I'll just show you here. It's, let me scroll up here. Let me switch to the browser for you. See, so there is a preview window which plays and a public view window that plays. And I think I had the public one playing by mistake, so I just went ahead and stopped that. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and pop out my chat again here, and I will come back to you here. Okay, I think we're all square now, right? Sorry about that. Again, this is new to me. Hey, oh yeah, cool. Yeah, thanks for the headphones. Yeah, these headphones, they're Bluetooth. I had them at my job, and I got a new set, and these are kind of old junk. Now they're not junk; they work fine, I think, right? But they're Bluetooth. They got battery in them, so if they die out on me, that's the downside to this. I'm not sure how long I can broadcast with this with the battery not going dead on me here. So we'll find out, maybe, you know. Let's see what we got here. What's everyone drinking? Well, let's start off here. I have, so you can see that there. This is Macallan cask strength. Let's see if I can get that close to the window for you. And this is some good Scotch. Highland single malt Scotch whiskey, cask strength, meaning it's 60.1% alcohol by volume. And so I had to add a couple little ice cubes in there to give it a little bit of a break because it is pretty strong. So cheers, everyone. Let's see here. So homebrewed Budweiser. Well, all right. Um, Thanks. Yeah, hey, it's Dave from Saskatchewan. Boy, there's a lot of people here this time. I was starting to say just a minute ago. I think last time I had 33 people show up spontaneously, and so I gave about a 2-day notice this time to see how many heads I'll have. And right now I do not know, but I'll find out probably within I think 24 hours after the broadcast. I think they send me out some stats that I can analyze and see who was all on. But mulled cider. All right, Berry Bliss. Oh, and one more thing you may notice here. Let me see if I can do this here. This column right here, that's new. I hope you guys can see the live chat on screen now. The last time I did this, there was no live chat on screen, and little did I know the live chats were not recorded as part of the stream for those who watch this after the live stream. So I was talking for an hour and not reciting what I was reading as much, and people were maybe getting confused as to what I was talking about because I was not displaying the live chat in the recorded feed. So now here on the side here, I have this live chat going on, and I hope you all can see that. Let's see here. So, okay, so, wow, this is great. Man, this is an awesome turnout here. This is one of the things I wanted to talk about here today. I made some notes of what to talk about here a little bit, in addition to some Q&A and some live chat as well. I probably got another hour here, give or take. I'm making dinner again because it's Sunday. I'm doing some thin crust pizzas. I got the dough rising. I got some of the ingredients already chopped up. I got the spinach already marinating in some garlic and olive oil and some salt. Making some pizzas for the wife and I and the kids too tonight. Boy, oh boy, look at you all. This is just a ton of cool stuff here. So anyway, so I asked a few days ago for some feedback for the next live stream, and predominantly the question was, or the statement was, do a live brew day. Well, I wasn't going to do that for this live stream. I don't have anything to brew today. I've had some problems with my house, my wiring. I had a circuit breaker trip yesterday out of the blue for no reason, and I spent the past 24 hours isolating circuits and outlets trying to figure out which run it was. And I just got done a couple hours ago, so didn't have any time for any brewing today, right? Let's see here. So, but I will talk about that live brew day topic in a little bit here because it kind of goes with some of the other things I wanted to bring up. So let me postpone that for a bit. Live brew days are fun. Oh, hey Brian. Oh, you're back online. All right. See, or is your internet working yet? Brian here, Short Circuited Brewers down there. You can kind of see him down here somewhere on the screen. Pardon me. He was supposed to do a live stream, I think, today or yesterday, and it got yanked because of his internet being down. But I hope he's going to get it back up again. All right. So, are you going to reschedule that brew day? Or I'm sorry, the brew day, the interview about water chemistry for next weekend or sometime in the near future, so everyone here can hear that? Let's see if he responds to that. Again, there's about a 15 to 20 second delay between when I talk and what I'm reading here, so it may seem out of sync for you folks. So for those of you who don't know, and I'm talking about this not only to not just to promote a fellow YouTuber, Short Circuited Brewers. He's in the electric brewing, and he does a lot of good stuff on his channel, but and also, he's got a topic coming up about water chemistry and water profiles. And I've gotten a lot of questions this year on that question. And I've been punting on that because, again, I used to try to do water chemistry years ago. And I realized my water was generally pretty much fine without any adjustments. So I haven't done water chemistry adjustments in years. And this is a good topic. So if you want to know a bit about water chemistry and how it's done, Brian at Short Circuited Brewers here online here on the live chat. He's got a guest, Tony Yates, right? He's still going to reschedule, right? So anyway, go look at his channel, subscribe, watch his live stream. I think it should be coming up relatively soon, I hope. All right, so Okay. So again, sorry again about last week. It was a short notice. I know a lot of you are upset that you missed the live stream, so I went ahead and scheduled this one as sort of a carry on of that. I jotted down some topics here to talk about. If there's any dead space in the conversation, but it looks like there's plenty of conversation going on here. Charmed homebrewing in sports from Australia. Hey, cheers, man. Yeah, there you go. All right. So I hope this feed is doing okay for you folks. I told both my kids to stay off the internet for the next hour. You know, they're watching Netflix, playing online games, whatever, right? Watching videos too, right? So let's see. Tony Yates has a whole channel. Okay. Well, see, honestly, I don't even know who Tony Yates is. I just heard his name just the other day for the first time. Honestly, it's just that's one of the things I'm trying to correct here with my personality and my history and my hobbies. I kind of done a lot of these hobbies like brewing and cooking because they could be solitary activities. They don't require a group or a herd of people to congregate in one location to do something like going to play golf, for example. Like you need a foursome. I play golf once in a while, but it's because of that whole trying to get everyone at a place at the same time has always been kind of a turn off to me. I always just like to be more spontaneous. If I have some free time, I'll go do what I darn well feel like doing, basically. And home brewing is one of those. I generally don't brew. I usually don't know I'm brewing more than a day or two in advance a lot of the times, honestly, folks. So I just kind of, oh, I got all day tomorrow free to go brew. All right, let me get the yeast started, basically, right? Let's see. Tony Yates is the water master. See, yeah. So again, going back to this, I wish I knew more people in the industry. Now, going back into years ago before live streaming and YouTube were even around, the only avenue I had to collaborate or to talk to other people who brewed was to either luckily happen to know somebody or be part of a home brewing club, which I was never keen on because I, for one, don't like driving an hour to go to a meeting to hear people brag about how good their beers were. That's been my impression of what they were. I just never went to one, so I don't honestly know, honestly. Um, but now with this live streaming and social media and YouTube and chat rooms and things, this is so much better now, and I need to get caught up on this and get on board with it, I suppose. See some questions down here. Am I an electrician? No, I only play one at home. uh, that's why it took me 24 hours to isolate the bad circuit. So I mean, I'm a mechanical engineer, and I know some electrical stuff, but I'm not a tradesman. I don't have all the tools to trace everything, to trace shorts and all that. I just was just a guy going from outlet to outlet, opening up wires and turning on the breaker and see which runs were causing the problems. That was basically all I did. Let's see what we got here. My favorite style of beer to make. Oh, hold on a minute. Thanks for the Zombie Dust clone recipe. Yeah, big hit. That is actually my favorite beer, honestly, that I've ever made. Let's see, for those of you that don't know, I did a Zombie Dust clone recipe. Well, I've been making it for years personally, but I published this as a video, back in, I don't know, March sometime, right? And it's pretty darn good. Uh, for those of you who don't know what it is, it's a Citra hopped beer basically, and it's reminiscent to me of these Northeast IPAs, which are now all the rage now. And I went and looked into a little bit because I've had questions from a lot of you about how to, um, or wanted me to make a Northeast style IPA. And truth is, that Zombie Dust is basically it with a little less hops. So I may actually take that recipe and jazz it up maybe this spring. That's one of the things I plan on doing on my little sheet this year. I may revisit the Zombie Dust and adapt it as a Northeast IPA. I'm going to add a lot more hops in the dry hops, probably add maybe a little, maybe a tad of wheat or oats to make it a little bit creamy and cloudy, although it's a little cloudy already. Let's see. Oh, my day job. No, I don't do anything with brewing or, well, I keep them in business, right? that's but that's about it. No, I'm a well, I used to be employed as an engineer, mechanical engineer, education background experience. I'm a professionally licensed engineer in the state of Illinois. Um, I've done consulting work over the years, I work full time now, but my job has transitioned from engineering to more of the engineering IT or computers basically now. So what I primarily do now and my expertise today for the past decade or a dozen years now has been roughly or basically managing engineering and database management software for the company that I currently work for. Let's see, 47 watching. Thanks, Brian, because I don't know where to find those stats while I'm trying to watch my preview here, look at the live chat here, trying to check my volume levels down here. It's man, it's almost like I need like an extra person as like a moderator or like a sound guy or an AV person here, right? Okay, let me scroll down a little bit more here. Yes, yeah. Again, zombie dust. Make the zombie dust. Let's see. Let's see. Any pros and cons between bottling and kegging? I know you prefer kegging. Well, I used to bottle. Well, that's how everyone pretty much. Well, at least everyone that I know personally, we start bottling. And in fact, I still got lots of bottles. In fact, probably still have all the bottles I used to use because now I use my bottles for my winemaking. I mean, a lot of people think that you need like the tall. Well, hold on a minute. A lot of people think that you need these tall wine bottles, but that's nonsense. You can use flip top bottles, cap bottles, whatever for wine. So, but when it comes to beer, that was the worst thing about brewing was the bottling, and not just the bottling. It was the cleaning, the washing, the soaking, the sanitizing, the draining, the rinsing. All that was a reason why I actually quit brewing for about a year and a half or two. Well, plus the fact that I had my first child, and that was a new experience, right? I had no free time basically. But when I started to get back into brewing, I said I'm not going back to the bottles. I went right into the kegging, and basically kegging is just one giant bottle. So let me see here. So let's see what I got here. So this is is a bigger version of this. so so then I just have one big bottle to clean and wash and sanitize, and it made it so much easier. So the pros and cons are, well, the pros are it's easier to clean and makes me brew more often. It also lets you force carbonate your beer, so it's ready to drink in a matter of days. The downside, well, it costs more up front for the CO2, the kegerator, all that. Let's see. Oh, Stephen, you work in IT too? Yeah, yeah, you know. Yeah, it's an interesting beast. I actually technically don't work in IT per se. I'm an IT architect by job role now, but I've been wise enough over the years to stay on on the R&D side of every company I've worked for because I've seen how IT companies treat their employees, and it's terrible. You know, they layoffs, crazy hours. They outsource the whole IT group, and everyone's gone, right? So I've been wise. I've been keeping one foot in the engineering realm, where my customers understand how valuable I am to the actual business. Whereas I worked in the IT group as a support function, they don't feel the same way about it. So that's kind of why I've never been fired from a job before, I suppose, or laid off, whatever, right? Let's see here. Boy, lots of talking here. My goodness. I got topics I could talk about, or I can just answer questions. I'm good either way here. Yeah, so Mr. Bill says he quit brewing for 3 years because of bottling until he could get a fully kegged system. So yeah, that's how I felt too, man. And once I went kegging, no going back. I don't bottle anymore. I may someday make another barley wine or a Scotch ale because I used to make. That's actually what got me into home brewing. Was I wanted to. I tried a Scotch ale for the very first time 20 years ago or something, and that was like, wow, I want this at home. So my very first batch of beer was an extract batch, and it was a Scotch ale, and so I bottled it. And I always wanted to go back and make another Scotch ale again, and those should be bottled, in my opinion. Let's see. Small batch brewing. 2 gallon. Yeah. Well, it's basically the same as what we're doing now. Just use less water and less ingredients. Smaller pots, right? So you can do it on a stove top. You can use a 3 gallon stock pot, and that's actually how I got into brewing originally. Oh man, originally got into brewing as an extract brewery doing concentrated wort boils. So what that means is that I bought the extract powder, very expensive, right? But I bought it, and I didn't have a big kettle. I had a smaller like stock pot for making stock with and things. So it was about a 3-gallon pot. So I actually had to do high gravity boils and dilute the beer with water in the carboy, and that's how I brewed for a couple years at least. Let's see. How do I do a YouTube live? Yeah, well, can I explain it? Well, this is completely new to me. So basically what I have here, which I can't show you, I can show you my desktop, but I didn't set that up yet, but you have to have not only a YouTube account that's enabled for live streaming, so you need to be, I think, a YouTube creator with so many subs or views. They keep changing the rules on this. It used to be you get to be 10,000 subscribers and higher. I think they lowered the bar a little bit now. But you also need encoding software, a webcam, a microphone of some sort. There's different ways to go about it. And if you don't want to do it on a laptop or a PC, the YouTube app on any phone, you can live stream right then and there. You don't need anything fancy, just a selfie stick and a phone, basically. Yeah. Okay, guys, I'm trying to get caught up here. I'm sorry if I'm missing a lot of you there. It's stuff's going by really fast, so I apologize if you scrolled off screen already. I'm just trying to keep up with the flow. Sorry, I apologize. I should probably do these live screens a bit more often now that I'm getting the hang of this a little bit. This is actually kind of fun. OBS, yes. Brian at Short Circuit Brewers, OBS, that's what I'm using right now. So all of this icon up here and this all here and all of this here is all on this freeware open source software called OBS Studio. So look into that because it's working great, man. I actually love this thing. Let's see. Topics. Okay, some topics. Thank you. Somebody finally asked me about my topics. Thanks, David. Uh, oh, and Christy's cooking channel. Hey, Christy, how you doing? Yeah, cool. Yeah, all right. Boy, man, there's so much going on here. Okay. Oh, I gotta show something here. I'm not sure what I'm doing here. Okay, some topics here, guys. Okay, so one of the things I wanted to bring up because this was asked last week, and so I started jotting down some ideas for 2018. Now, I said 2017 was like a breakout year for me. I mentioned these stats in that live feed. I only had like 6,000 subscribers. I went up to like 21,000 right before the turn of the year here. So that was quite a huge growth for me, and I'm hoping to see the same amount of growth going forward. And honestly, I've been playing catch up this entire time. I mean, I want to get ahead of the curve a little bit in 18, and what I mean by that is going back to 2012 when I first started up this YouTube channel. It was just me posting some stray videos here and there for other people to watch on the forums because I didn't have a place to upload a video, and people started subscribing, and I started making more videos, and I never had a format, an intro, a shtick, let's say. I didn't have a way. I mean, all my old videos all look like they're all one-off videos, right? They didn't really flow together, and because I didn't know what I was doing, I still don't, right? I'm learning every single day. I mess with something here, but in 2017, I finally, by this point, I understood what my viewers wanted a bit more. I know a lot more now. And so I was trying to come up with an introduction, a logo, like you see here. I mean, I've changed this logo a couple times over the past few years. So now I want to get ahead of the curve here. So this is part of my topics here, right? So some of the things I want to start doing in 18 is do more of these live streams. I think this is kind of nice because I get a lot of questions and emails and IMs from people asking and wanting to get to know me a bit better. I think this might be a good way to get more people involved in knowing who I am, right? And answering questions live. And sorry, so Brian's getting me all over the place here. Okay, I'm focusing. Topics, right? So I want to do some more of these Q&As, some more of these live chats, obviously, right? But I've been wanting to do start doing videos at least with a co-host or co-brewers or co-cooks, whatever, And I tried looking around this past year, and nothing really worked out. But I was trying to get somebody local to my area at least who was also doing the same kind of thing. Maybe do a collaboration video or two. There's some people in Indiana and other in Illinois and Wisconsin and things who aren't too far from where I live. That's a possibility, but it's still a long drive and a huge event to plan out. So another option I've been thinking about is maybe doing some live streams with interviews, live interviews via Skype or whatever with other people that may be of interest to you, right? So that's something that I plan on doing as well. And let's see what I got here. Yeah. So anyway, so you may have noticed my brother Chad started showing up in some of these videos. Well, he's been doing cameos basically for several years and here and there in certain videos, but really just this past year he's been in a couple of videos at least now, and so I like to do more of things like that to like shake it up. It's not just me talking basically, and some other things I want to do. So I've been playing catch up this entire time. In terms of equipment, I'm still using my Nikon D5100 SLR camera that I've had since 2010 or 11. It's the family camera basically for all our vacations and photos and things, right? So I've been using that as a double duty, using it more for YouTube now than I do for anything else. And I think I need to add a camera or two. I want to start doing multiple camera angles. I've already ordered some additional tripods to make it easy to move a single camera from one point to another without having to reset up each shot. So some of these equipment upgrades is what I'm trying to get done. Maybe some better sound, maybe some light kits, things like maybe going to 4K videos. I mean, I don't know. I've got 1080p now. It looks fine, but 4K allows you to crop and zoom in on things and not lose resolution. There's some advantages to some of these newer cameras, better autofocuses and things like that. Um, so, so these are some of the things I'm trying to get ahead of. Another thing I want to start doing in 18 is some more product reviews, and I think that was part of the success or of the growth of this channel this past year was I started doing some reviews of fermenters, and now I'm starting to do reviews of these all-in-one brewing systems. I'm looking for more. Not only are they interesting, they also draw more viewers, and that's what I like to do is drawing more viewers and subscribers. So also, oh, don't change my intro. Okay, MJ Haas. So that was another thing. I was thinking about coming up with a new intro. So if you like it the way it is, that's great. It's really easy to do. I put it together with some video editing software, some old videos. I changed it once or twice in the past couple of years. I've added some new scenes in there, but it's pretty much been the same. I know a lot of people have fancy 3D logos that flash fire and lightning bolts across the screen. I actually don't know how to do that, and I don't want to pay for it to be done. There's a software tool called Blender. It's a freeware tool. I was trying to learn that, how to do it, and I just said, oh, heck with it. I'll just do the video the way I did it, and that's what my intro is now. Why don't I dry hop? I actually do dry hop. I do dry hop a lot. Maybe some of the videos you see maybe it don't include a lot of dry hopping, but I dry hop my zombie dust. I dry hop a lot of my Centennial IPA. I dry hop that a lot. I do a lot of dry hopping. And so I'm sorry, I keep reading the screen here. So some of the other topics I was wanting to do was maybe doing some more homebrewing basics videos. Those seem to be popular. There's a lot of new people coming on, new subscribers who are new to brewing, who really appreciate the elementary aspect of the brewing tutorials. So I'm going to try to do some more of those. And again, and that's about it. I might. Somebody asked me about doing a book, a recipe book. Again, if I had time, maybe I would consider it. I have actually looked into some e-publishing ideas. I actually have a buddy of mine, or an acquaintance, more like it, who is a well-known publisher, and he shunned the entire publishing world years ago by going ebooks, and has made much more money self-publishing his own little books for a lot less money, but a lot more goes to him than it did in the old publishing world. So if it were to publish, it will not be through a traditional brick and mortar publisher. It'll be through Amazon or the Nook or whatever, right? Um, so those are my ideas. I wish I had more time. I was going to make a more refined list, but I just told you earlier I had power issues in my house, and and that caused a cascading darkness in my house. This circuit was kind of touching almost every part of this house, and it was brutal. So that was my priority for the past past 24 hours now or so. So that was my quick overview here. So now let's see what we got here going on here, folks. Advice for people who just start brewing. Um, well, let's see. I guess read and watch, right? um, just pay attention. Don't close your mind to other ideas. I mean, when I started brewing, I had a single book. It was The Joy of Brewing by Charlie Pepazon. I can't pronounce his last name. If that was it, I don't know. It was years ago, and I bought other books, and I kind of got into a rut where I was doing exactly what they said and how to do it. And I've come to realize through experience that that's not always true. I mean, I've done some videos, some controversial videos in the past several months, starting some of those topics there. Is this better than that? Those kind of things, just to get you thinking, because what I've read, I found out is not always the case. So do all the reading that you can. Watch as many videos as you can, tutorials, but keep an open mind to alternatives to those ideas as well. Let's see. How many batches of beer do I do in a year? Well, that it it's varied depending on what's going on in my life. When I first started brewing, I was brewing every couple months. Then I started having kids, young kids, lots of things going on. I was consulting, working by day, a day job, and night weekends by the moonlight, basically. So that was pretty much down to maybe once or twice a year for a little while. Since I started this channel and I started getting more of you watching me, I kind of felt more of a push, more uh, momentum to get my body moving and brewing more often. So I've been brewing for about every 2 months, so about 6 times a year now. Uh, but my brother's brown English ale was excellent. Thank you very much, Mr. Wayne Gillian. Awesome. Yeah, I mean that was my first time making a brown ale. Well, I love brown ales. I've been drinking brown ales since I discovered Newcastle back in the 90s. All right, so and I realized looking through my brewing logs, I never actually made one. So my first attempt at it, hey, it's turned out pretty good. You know, let's see. How do I control fermentation temperatures in summer and winter? Well, um, Mother Nature basically. It's I don't have a spare fridge. I don't have a fermentation fridge, a chest freeze. I don't have anything extra to chill stuff in, and I don't have anything to keep things warm in. So where I'm at right now is in my basement bar, and this is where I ferment. In fact, I got a batch of beer right here off to my right down here. It's an amber ale I made with the Grainfather, almost ready to rack to the keg in about another 4 or 5 days. And it's sitting right here, and it's usually in the low to mid 60s here all the time. And I got heat down here. I could turn on a heater in the room to get it a little bit warmer if I need to. I can wrap it in a blanket. And it never gets above 65 degrees down here, so I'm never worried about it getting ever getting too warm. Let's see. Do a brew day in collaboration with a barbecue day. Yeah. Boy, I would be schizophrenic by that point. I'd have my hair all pulled out, trying to cook and brew at the same time. And actually, that's a good segue into the live brew day question earlier, or the topic. And I'd never considered doing a live brew day before because I mean, it'd be like 6 hour video basically, a 6 hour long video, and that kind of runs, or at least in the past has run counter to my philosophy when it came to doing videos. Like when I started watching other videos, I would get impatient with with the length of the videos, and to me there's a lot of dead air and a lot of dead space that I thought the person making the video could have cut out and made a 45-minute video into a 5-minute video basically, and show me everything that I wanted to see. So that's kind of been my shtick. I put a lot of time and effort into taking a 6-hour brew day and make it 20 minutes long, in order to keep you from being bored to death watching all the drag, all the hard to watch stuff that just goes on and on and on. But it does seem to be a trend. A number of you people out here who are also YouTubers have been doing brew days too, and that's cool. But I just don't know if it's right for my audience. I mean, it must be, because a lot of you are asking for it, but how many of you? And the other complicated part of that is I don't have the equipment to do a live brew day. I mean, I'm using a webcam right up here on my laptop right now, and I have this headset here, and I don't think I have enough equipment yet to do a live brew day, but that's one of my 2018 goals, is to invest in some more cameras, some webcams, some better audio mixing devices and things, so I can mix the audio from the different sources to get the best sound, depending on how close I am to one camera or the other. So I do want to do all this. Whether I get there or not, it depends on my budget, my time, and so we'll see. I mean, one of the things I'm considering, because I've been thinking about this live brew day thing for a couple of days now since I asked about what you guys wanted to see here today, and it may be something that I may have to offer as a not a subscription model, but maybe to those who've donated to my PayPal account or monthly subscribers, or I'm starting up a Patreon account now soon, for example. So I'm thinking, if I want to go through the expense and trouble of doing a live brew day, you must be really excited and really want to see that, and I may have to charge or at least ask you to become a member of a Patreon page or something, maybe to help subsidize that. But it's something I'm still thinking about. Another thing I'm thinking about, it just came to me. Rather than doing live brew day videos, I was actually thinking about doing something completely crazy. Call me crazy here. Just hold on a minute. I was thinking 360 video. Wouldn't that be cool? A lot. I mean, not so much a live brew day, which is like, we'll just, there's will be highs and lows and downtime and uptime and everything going on. I was thinking more like producing a 20-minute, half-hour long brew day video, 360 degrees virtual reality, where you yourself can actually take your mouse and look around and see everything that's going on in each of these scenes. And I actually was looking at this. Let me show you what I got here. Let me see here. Here we go. This. All right. I hope you guys can see this. But what this is here is a cooking show.
Jay, you're up first. What
yes.
I can
so there's a big thing in the north of England.
Go around and watch everyone work.
So I hear.
So
and
I
cook.
Thought, why not make that even better? Take it up 12.
And you can look around the room and everything. So
levels.
you get sound in 3D, so you hear sound behind you, you hear sound in front of you.
So we've taken the nation's favourite curry, it's the chicken tikka masala.
It's your favourite.
It's my favourite.
Right.
We're going to put it on top of the chips.
So that's kind of what I was thinking about doing instead, actually. If I can afford it yet again. Again, it's going to require a lot of cameras and things. So let me see what you guys said to just all that. Just give me a moment to read up and get caught up on the live chat here briefly. Oh, you watched my video a couple times on using secondary fermenters, tried it, and now you're a believer. Yeah, see, Ken, I told you, man. I mean, what the books say isn't always true. It's kind of like knowledge that they were passed on to, and they passed on to you through a book or a tutorial somewhere, and it's just like, well, yeah, you could, but do you need to? Let's see. So anyway, let me know what you think of the 360 idea, because I think if I was to do that kind of live or immersive brew day experience, rather than giving you a 20-minute video, I can give you maybe a 45-minute video of all the major steps that I'm doing without all the dead space in the video, and give you something to look at and look around with. But again, brainstorming, big picture thinking. That may not happen, but I'm hoping it will. Um, okay, Oliver. So, okay, 360 video is really OCD that you're going to miss something. Yeah, well, see, that's one of the downsides because you're looking here and I'm doing something over there. You know, and that's one thing I've been doing with my videos. I've been trying to keep you focused on what's going on and what's important to watch, and that's what I've been trying to do here. I put a lot of effort trying to move the cameras in like stage shots so you see what's important in these videos. And I understand a lot of you want to see everything, but a lot of you don't want to see everything. So I'm kind of torn on the whole live brew day thing. I got to think about it some more. Let's say some questions here. 360 would be cool. Yeah, I mean, I think so too. You know, another question here. Do you use a refractometer when you mash? Yes, I have been for about the past year. I have one, and that's why if you look at my brewing recipe template spreadsheet here, let me turn that on here. Um, I have a field right down around in here for that, and that's because I bought a refractometer about a year ago, and I've been trying to calibrate it per the types of beers I make ever since, and I got it pretty close. It's not exactly close, but it's close enough that I don't need a hydrometer anymore. I believe so. I've been trying to see if I can get away from the hydrometers, so I can then just use the refractometers. But the refractometers have a downside, is that post fermentation the alcohol throws the reeds off. So now there's some approximations and equations, which I also have on that spreadsheet down at the bottom for estimating what that will be, but that's not 100% guaranteed to be accurate. And truth is, I don't care anymore, honestly, folks. I think, I mean, once you lock down your extract efficiency and you brew the beer enough and you have enough experience that it's like I admit it, I don't keep accurate records much anymore. I kind of either forget because I'm getting older, right? Because you know they say the memory is the second thing to go. Can't remember the first though. Anyway, yeah, joke. Anyway, I can remember, just not as good as I used to. Uh, so let's see, where was I here? Where was I? Oh, I still use the brew. Yeah. So anyway, yeah, I use a refractometer now as often as I can. Some more questions. I still use the brewing sheet. My next beer. Well, that's again. That's another thing. I'm behind the eight ball on here, folks. I usually don't know what I'm brewing until a few days before I start brewing sometimes too. I usually look at my grains and what I have on hand and figure out, well, I can make this with that and this with that, or it's springtime, it's time for this style of beer, or it's wintertime, it's time for this style of beer. Um, but my next beer I have off camera here is an American Amber Ale recipe I made in the Grainfather. The beer after that, I do not know yet. It's still January. There's still plenty of time to make. I like to make stouts. I haven't done a stout video in about 4 years, and that old video I think I did was kind of. I mean, I even go back and look at my older videos and cringe. You know, oh. I mean, this video, or not this video here, but videos I've done this year in 2 years, I'll look back and go, ooh, you know. So it's just how I am. But I think I'm due for an oatmeal stout. Let's see. What yeast do I use? I've always used a liquid yeast strain up until this past year, where I used a dry yeast strain on the Pico Brew kit that came with the grains and the yeast and everything. And I always use Y yeast because the homebrew shop I go to closest to me has only that. There's another homebrew shop a little bit further in the opposite direction that has the White Labs. So depending on where I'm at, running errands and doing whatever, I might stop at one place or the other. But generally, depending on the brew strain, I largely stick with the American, the Y Yeast American Ale 1056 a lot of the times for my beers because it's a very neutral yeast profile. But for certain styles, like my Zombie Dust, I have to use a London ESB yeast. It's a very low attenuating style yeast, which gives it its appearance and flavor profile. That's important for it. There are some dry yeast I've read about that are similar to that, so those could be substituted. when it comes to my wheat beers or my Hefeweizen I did or my Belgian wit style. Those have specific yeast strains that you should use. So it just depends on the style of beer that I'm trying to make. Let me see here. I'm sorry, you guys are scrolling faster than I can keep up. Um, yeah, yeah. Let's see. How does one procure a? Oh, thanks, James. How does one procure a Beer-N-BBQ Larry shirt? Well, I'll show you right here. If you go to your web browser, oh, hold on here. Let me switch to another screen here. If you go to my website, so if you go to my website here at beerandbbq.larry.com, there is a B&B gear icon off to the right. You pick on that, and then you scroll down, and there is a link, which I should probably make more obvious now that I just saw this, called Shop Now. You pick on Shop Now. It takes you to teespring.com. So if you just go to teespring.com directly and punch in Beer-N-BBQ by Larry, you'll come up with my page here. And I got stuff here. I got women's, men's, sweatshirt. So I got sweatshirts, hoodies. If it comes up here, hoodies. I got white hood. So I got different colors. I got gray, white, black. It's taking a while to refresh here, apparently. I got mugs, apparently now. I got one mug, apparently. It's not loading very fast. So there's a mug there. There's also a long sleeve t-shirt, which I also have. I wear a lot in my videos. Boy, this thing takes a long time to refresh. So that's how you can get there. There's different colors, different sizes, and different styles. So thanks for asking. So that's my plug opportunity. All right. Let me go back to myself here and minimize some windows so I can see some more of these texts here. Am I on Facebook? Charmed Home Brewing and Sports? Yes, I am on Facebook. I have a Facebook page. If you go open up Facebook and look for my Beer-N-BBQ name again, let me go over there and show you that really quick here. If I go to an open tab, go to Facebook, there is a Beer-N-BBQ Facebook page. So you can go there and like it. There's a little like button there. You can follow me. I'm apparently following myself, apparently. So yeah, and then I also got a Twitter account too, and the other social apps I have not quite gotten to. Let's see what else we got here. Let me go back to me. Let's see. Do a brew day with me. Well, if you live in my area, that's one of the things I was trying to do, and I'm still looking to do, is to maybe have some of you on my channel, maybe as a opportunity to get some of my subscribers who are willing to come this far, at least maybe do a brew day video or some other type of video, maybe a beer tasting video as well. You may have noticed I don't do beer tasting videos other than my own beers, so it's not something that appeals to me, is watching other people drink other people's commercially bought beer. I can do that myself. Why would I want to watch somebody else drink the beer I can just go out and bought? That's just my opinion. But maybe a brew day or a beer tasting video of a beer that I did brew, for example. Okay. Check out Peaceful Cuisine as a benchmark for cooking vids. Okay. Yeah. All right. I mean, again, now that I'm recording this whole live stream here on screen here, I can actually go back and actually watch these comments now. I was at a loss last week when I was trying to go back and look at the live chat so I can actually jot down some of these notes, and it was completely gone. So, all right. So this is a good thing now. So now it's part of the historical record. Let's see. Is it safe to make bacon without chemicals? I will not answer that question based upon any liabilities that may come my way if someone tries to sue me. But I mean, for thousands of years, people would salt cure things. Now, salt curing and prog powder or salt or what we call curing today requires one of these prog powders, these pink salts, right, with these sodium nitrates or nitrites in them, because those stop spores, botulism spores, and other types of spores where that salt won't kill. Salt can only inhibit bacterial growth; it won't kill it entirely. So you need these other powders in there. So if you did it without the chemicals, you're risking your own life there basically. But given that people have been doing it for a long time, and most of us have lived through it, but you don't want to be that one unfortunate soul that actually got caught up in that problem, right? So I would recommend sticking with the quantities of that prog powder number one, or if you're doing long smoking or like long curing, that prog powder number two should be used. Do I do a lager? Well, about exactly one year ago, I actually did do a lager. I have a video on my channel. Go check it out. It's I think it's called my first Vienna lager, maybe, or something like that. It was a Vienna style lager, similar to like a Sam Adams, but in my opinion, I thought I liked it better. Of course, I'm biased. It's my beer. I mean, it could not have been better, but to me, it was better, or it could have been better. I don't know. But that's the problem I have. I don't have a refrigeration space for doing lagers. So that lager I actually had to occupy my kegerator for 2.5 months, I think it was, over 2 months for it to lager. And during that time, I couldn't brew anything or serve anything else in that kegerator. So I could do another lager, but I don't want to wait 3 months to drink a beer and meanwhile be out of beer at the same time. So if I was going to do a lager, I want to get a bunch of kegs already on hand of actual beer already in them, so I can tie myself over until that beer is done. So I may not do another lager beer. At least while I'm in this current house. I mean, there's no space in this house. I mean, every surface, I mean, even this bar that I'm sitting at now is a multi-purpose table basically for multiple things. I don't have any dedicated space for brewing or cooking really necessarily. I have a small kitchen. You see, I do a lot of my videos out in my garage now. I put this nice polyurethane plywood top now with some lights on it now, so I can actually show off the food. But that's what you see in the video. But I also cook on there too. It's high enough because I'm a tall guy that my back doesn't hurt from bending over at the kitchen table a lot, and I got more space to use rolling pins to roll up my doughs, or to put a sheet tray out there to make meatballs on, or whatever, right? Just like I did a couple of weeks ago in that video. So, I mean, as far as fridge space goes, it'll have to wait, probably. Let's see. Thoughts on using brewing salts? Again, I've never used them. Well, I think I may have tried to again years ago, but I have Lake Michigan water here supplied by the city of Chicago, and it's got enough minerals and stuff in it. I've never had to adjust my pHs. I never had to adjust my water chemistry. I've just been fortunate. I mean that's maybe you can call that a weakness on my part, because I can't give you advice on that right now, but it's just who I am, and it's been my experience. Let's see. Okay, if you're on Twitter, must be a genius. I think that was that Trump comment, huh? I saw that. Do I step mash? I have not, and I don't see a need to yet. I have not because I didn't have the ability to up until recently with the Grainfather, which I'll talk about in that video when I finally can get it out to you guys. But I'm actually doing more than one. I'm doing more than one Grainfather video. This first one is going to be more of a shorter overview, and I'm going to do a more in-depth one after that, which I'm still working on. Just not available yet. But when it comes to step mashing, it's from everything I've read and my own personal experience, I do single infusion mashing only. Originally because I didn't have the equipment to heat up my mash water, or I didn't want to tool around with heating up water and pouring it into a cooler. I mean, I have a single mash cooler, a mash tun cooler, and a single burner, and that's how I get by economically, not having a whole bunch of kettles and burners and pumps and things, right? So that's why I never started doing it. But after having brewed enough with single infusion mashing and done enough reading and research on the advantages of step mashing, there aren't a whole lot of advantages to step mashing today, right? I mean, a big reason people did step mashing historically was to maximize the extract efficiency and the sugars that they get from the mash from the grains, because these grains were what was called under modified malts. And nowadays, everywhere I buy grains in my homebrew shop or online or whatever, they're all well modified malts, they call it, which means they don't need or require step mashing to become good beers. So I've never done it because I had equipment limitations, and I still don't do it now because I don't see the necessity of it. For example, you might have noticed my simplicity of my approach to brewing. I don't do things anymore I either used to do or I've seen others do, which don't add anything to the result, right? So I did that one video about secondary fermenters that was mentioned somewhere here in the comments, and I religiously racked to a secondary fermenter because that's what all the books said. Well, the books were wrong. You don't have to do that. You can leave your beer in your fermenter, like I have right here off camera, for 2 weeks or 3 weeks, whatever, and keg it, and it's good. So I quit doing it because it was extra work that I didn't need to do. It had some risks, risks to oxidation or introducing bacteria possibly, right? So I just never did it, or I quit doing it. And now I brew more often as a result. For example, I look for ways to avoid extra work because extra work makes me not want to work again. It's a disincentive to want to brew if you're doing a lot of things that's just, to me, busy work and doesn't contribute to the bottom line. Or if it contributes, it's an incremental. Like, okay, my beer might be 5% better or 10% better for all this extra work and hassle. Well, maybe I'm happy with the 5 or 10% less beer and save me the extra hassle. That's kind of how I approach it. Let's see here. But but this Grainfather now. So this Grainfather does have a step mash ability. So you can actually program a step mashing profile. So I may in a future video go through that process because I've always wanted just to try it anyway, because just to say I did it. But in the past I just never had a need for it. Okay, a video on a brewing kit to appeal even more to newcomers to this hobby. Well, that would be a first for me too. I've never brewed a brew kit. I jumped full bore into extract and concentrated wort brewing, which is basically a kit. I just bought the malt powder and the hops on 2 different shelves in the homebrew shop, basically. But if there's an interest for doing a kit, it's not a bad idea. I mean, that does go along with my notes I was talking about earlier about getting back to basics. So it's not out of the realm of possibility. If I'm looking for a video to do and I don't have a backlog of things already in the queue, that's something that I might consider. Yeah. Let's see here. My own hot sauce. Yes. Sorry. Brent, your rib roast video was the juice. I can't wait till. Yeah, I like rib roast, man. I just don't have the budget to cook them a lot, so I do them once a year usually. I mean, sometimes I might do it for Easter too, but this year we only did it for Christmas Day. And yeah, I mean, rib roast, man. I mean, I'm getting hungry thinking about it. My own hot sauce. Yes, I have, and I've did it for years up until this past year. And actually, oh man, if you look back at some of my older videos, the barbecue beans video from scratch video that I did a year or 2 ago, I actually used some of my homemade Tabasco sauce in that as part of an ingredient. And that following year, just this past fall, about 1.5 years ago, I had another crop of Tabasco peppers because I've been growing Tabasco peppers on my patio for several years, and they don't grow very well in the Chicago area climate, so I gotta start them indoors, grow them during the summer, and bring them into my garage under some heat lamps and stuff to keep them going through October. But I usually end up with a bunch of Tabasco, red ripe Tabasco peppers, and I actually started doing a Tabasco video. I was about halfway done because it takes a couple months or more to do a fermented Tabasco sauce. Because I was taking the peppers, I put them in a mash. With of salt and crushed peppers, and I put them in a jar and I let them ferment and bubble just like I would a batch of beer, basically. And then you put some oak chips in there, and you strain it, and I add some of my white wine to it and some vinegar to dilute it, and I would bottle it. And I was almost there this in the fall of 2016 when I started getting acid reflux issues again, and I've had those over the years too, from eating hot sauces and things, and drinking beer too late at night, or drinking too much scotch too late in the evening. So I had to give up something, and I wasn't going to give up the scotch. So I gave up the hot sauce and threw it all away. Just pitched it. I said, you know what? I can't do it. But yes, I have made my own hot sauces, and I want to get back to it again once I get a little bit normal again here in my esophagus. Let's see here. Done a cider. I've done a cider kit. So yes, I've done a kit, not a beer kit. I've done a cider kit, and I've done a video on that. So go on my channel, search for Brewer's Best Cider Kit or whatever. And I did a video there, and it turned out good. You know, I served it at a barbecue. I did a video, I think, on that, serving it out of my jockey box, which I got a whole bunch of. I got videos on everything. I got like this video library going on now where I keep trying to plug different things as sort of components to my newer videos, so I don't have to rehash. Oh, here's how I did this again. I'll just point you back to these older videos. So now I have sort of a library of stuff, which is kind of cool. So now I can just say, hey, go back and check out that video. But it's true. I did a cider kit video, and it turned out pretty good. I had some problems with it at first when I was tasting it in that video because it tasted a little bit flat, and I realized cider is better served at around 20 psi, not 10 or 12 psi. And once I jacked up the CO2, it turned out fine. It was good. In fact, I will be doing a new cider kit this probably late winter or spring or early spring. I'm going to do a cherry cider, I think, this time. The Grainfather review, well, I got one video right now ready to launch. I'm probably going to post it probably tomorrow or Tuesday. I got one more, a Brew Day one that I have following that, probably another week or two out. I actually want to get my beer I made off camera here done so I can drink that with the video. So that's kind of what I was thinking. And I'm going to be doing probably a third video on the Grainfather, or maybe more, with some lessons learned, I think, too, and some changes from what I've learned during the Brew Day video. So this is going to be maybe a 3-part video, probably, series. Let's see. I like that Lalu 225. I don't know what that is. I'm sorry, Brent. I just over my head there. Let's see. Highest alcohol by volume beer I've ever made to date. Well, that would probably be my Scotch ale or my barley wine. So back, just like I said earlier in this clip, I started off doing Scotch ale because I thought it was cool, but it was very expensive in the store or the restaurant to buy, so I made it myself. And that was probably about 9 to 10% alcohol. That's about as high as you'll get with most beer yeast strains, because they tend to die off. I mean, you'll have to switch to like a wine yeast that's more tolerant of the high alcohol and things. So probably just around 10% is probably what I made once. It might have been a barley wine though. Excuse me. Do I brew any other method than all grain? Well, not anymore. I used to I used to do extract brewing and concentrated wort boiling, and I went to all grain. I don't see need to go back to extract unless I might be doing a Scotch ale or a barley wine again. Those actually could be fruitful to use extract, since you can get a very high gravity wort out of powder, where it'll be a little bit harder to do with all grain. You'll have to boil a lot longer and things like that. So I don't see a need to go back to extract for anything else though, because I have the equipment for all grain and it's cheaper to do. Once you have the equipment, that is. Let's see, what else we got here? Who influenced me to homebrew? Who do I enjoy watching? Craig Tube. Oh yeah. Well, this is part of me coming out of my shell a little bit. All right, so who influenced me? There was a couple of guys. One was a neighbor across the street from me. So when I moved into my current house in 2000, I happened to mention that I was going to get into home brewing, and my neighbor said, "Oh, I got all the equipment. I've brewed before. Let's brew together." So he got me into it. Actually physically doing it. And there was another coworker of mine at a job I had who was an active brewer, so I picked his brain a lot too. I started subscribing to Brew Your Own magazine, byo.com, right? Started getting their subscriptions, and I still get one even here today. And I started reading that stuff. So those were my influences. I had no other influences back when I started doing this. Again, this is before YouTube. In the early days of the internet, there was dial-up modems, not a lot of cable and DSL going on, right? So now I'm trying to get better at it. I'm trying to reach out to more people now that we have this technology to do this. So those who've reached out and subscribed, who are other YouTubers, who are also homebrewers, or who are homebrewers who are not YouTubers even, I'm now talking to more of you folks out there and learning more about stuff I never cared or knew about before. So I'm actually just getting. This is kind of newer to me too, folks. I mean, this whole collaborative environment here with this, it's cool. I mean, so influences Brian, Short Circuit of Brewers. He's on here. I've been watching his stuff. He's got some really good content. It's mainly electric brewing, which I'm just tipping my toes into right now. But he's got other videos which are pretty cool too, so I watch him for that. Homebrew TV, that's Paul, I think. I've been watching his videos. Craig Tube, I watch Craig Tube sometimes. But see, the problem I have, folks, with having too much to watch is that I'm not doing. If I'm sitting here watching, I'm not doing. So the more I watch, the less I'm doing, and the less I'm doing for my channel. So I try to balance that. I try to do more than I watch, but it's kind of back and forth. Have I ever had an infected beer? Yes. One I know for sure that I just dumped out. Man, it was back in the days, my first few years of brewing with extract brewing, and I saw a recipe for a lemon coriander wheat beer. I thought, well, I like lemon, I like coriander, I like wheat beer, you know. And I bottled them back then, right? And the bottles, after they carbonated and primed them and everything, I started opening them and they started foaming everywhere. You know, well, that must have been overcarbonated. So I opened another one. You know, I said, well, maybe I put too much priming sugar in. Well, no, because I pour up a glass and I start drinking. I'm like, maybe it's the lemon, you know, because it was really sour. I'm thinking, no, there's more than just a lemon there. And so I ended up dumping that whole batch. So yes, I have, and it's unfortunate, but it happens. I mean, we're human. I mean, we're prone to the equipment we have, and it's just what it is. Hey, let's see what we got here, guys. I'm trying not to stay on one topic for too long here. Have I tried any European craft beers? Well, I mean, imports, yeah. I mean, I've been drinking import beers for a long time now. You might laugh and say, "What, Heineken?" Well, yeah, that was one of the ones but I got friends in Germany, coworkers, because I work for a German company. You know, they laugh at that. Oh, we send you Americans the beer that we won't drink. Ha 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 ha. Right. So Hofbrau, I drink Hofbrau. There's a Hofbrau house and a Hofbrau beer garden up the street from my house, so I go there for the big beer steins, right? So yeah, I mean, I do drink. I have a Polish neighbor. He drinks Tyskie and a couple other Polish beers. I drink those. You know, it's pretty good stuff. So yeah, I mean, I try all kinds of beers, folks. I'm not shy. And in fact, to prove to you how not shy I am about drinking beer, this is not what you think it is. This is not a homemade lager. I have to not maybe shamefully admit, but just admit straight out that this is a Coors Light. Because I need to wash down my Scotch with it, and I had it on hand, and somebody brought a case of beer over to a poker game I was throwing a few weeks ago, and left it here, and I'm all out of homebrew, and please forgive me, sacrilege, store-bought beer. Oh. Anyway, sorry. Oh, and Brew Geek Nation, yeah, I watch Brew Geek Nation. I watch him too, you know. Let's see.